Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, goddess?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Yeah, it's been a good start to the week.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking before we were recording about managing all the things as we
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
seem to have going on. And especially now that things are opening up
Yeah.
and we're called to finally get out and be with
Mm.
people and be involved, and the things seem to be moving forward. There seems to be that many more things to do.
Yes, and that is a perfect transition into our goddess for the day.
Yeah.
It was interesting because when we started revisiting our information for the goddess of the day of the week, we I just made a joke. I was like, oh, she came up because we needed to hear from her today. This is perfect timing.
Right.
As always.
As always, as if, I mean,
So
I don't know why we're always so surprised.
right. So the goddess Athena is our focal point for our chat today, and strength. And I really loved this one specific sentence, and I think that will be our leaping off point. The warrior strength of Athena is not based on aggression. Rather, she represents defensive strength, the ability to stand one's ground and not be moved. Who? Yeah. Yes, goddess. All about that one. Because it is so easy to get into that space where you feel piled on, like everything's just piled on, and then you can't seem to swim your way out of the weight of it all. And instead of saying yes to all of the things, Athena is saying to us, get aligned to what is your truth, what your boundaries are, set them, and then be willing to stand there. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, this goddess speaks to me on the level with my son, because that has been the message that I have been working with is, okay, where's my boundary? This is what this is where I stand. Whatever you want to do beyond that is yours to do. And it has taken away all this tension that seems to be, running around between the two of us as we're still figuring out how to be mother and son.
Yeah,
now as
but he
adult.
wants to be independent and make his own decisions and do his own thing, but it's not
But
quite
we're
right there.
not 100% there yet.
Not there yet.
There's we're still working, but I also have to let go more and allow it to allow him to expand himself. And so when we had some situations happen recently, I was feeling like, oh, what's going on? And he's feeling like, oh, what's going on? And then I just kind of had to pray and step out of the scenario for a moment and then observe what are my needs here. Mm-hmm. And I had to get clear with that. What is my need? And get in alignment with that. And then once I was in alignment with that, then I was able to just say, okay, sure, if that's what you want to do. I may not agree with it, but I don't have to say that. I just have to say, that's fine. Here's my boundary. This is what I need from you.
There you go. And you were very firm about that. And this is not non-negotiable here. The rest of it you can do as you please and learn the lesson you need to learn. But here is the and that's good.
Yeah. And that takes effort and intentions. And so for me, when I read that sentence, I was like, yes, Athena, I get it. I'm hearing you. I am taking this into my being, and I'm going to apply it in all the ways in my life, not just with my child. All the ways that I can apply it, I'm going to. Because when we get grounded, we don't have to fight the system, right? we just stand where we are and that's it. How about you, Paige? How's that feel for you?
Well, absolutely. Structure for me creates freedom. I know that here. Getting it from here to my heart and action is a little different because I'm a very go with the flow, watery type person. And I can set boundaries that will easily dissipate, because as you were speaking, the thought came to me that although I can be fluid and in the flow, water doesn't have to be everywhere in order to flow. You can have a nice channel through which it can flow. And sometimes if you have the boundaries, it will flow faster. It will, with some
Things
more
will move.
force,
Yeah.
right? And
it will move forward.
It will move forward, or it'll move in the direction that you have, but it's still flowing. And then if I come across a roadblock, I can choose, a way to flow around it. And it made me think of the distinction of what's mine to do and what's that other person's responsibility. This is all just coming to me now. So thank you for helping.
Let that divine flow come, sister.
Thank you, Athena, for giving me this structure of I like to be amenable. I like to work with other people's schedules and all of that. However, it tends to be to the detriment of what I'm trying to get done. And so we had talked off before recording this about just setting up a schedule and sticking to it and saying, these are the times I'm able to do these things and do them. However, I'm putting a caveat on that, or adding an addendum, is that if these are my things to do, so when I have a 2-hour time block to do something and I'm thinking, okay, is this something that is my to do, or is this what somebody else could do? I don't want to use that word should, but should be doing.
Release this to someone.
I'm going to release it to somebody who's better suited for this, right?
Well, they're more in alignment to do it. Yes.
Well, yeah, or that it's it really is their thing to do, and it's not mine. And why do I feel like I have to do it?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because so often it's like, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done.
It's not going to get done. But here's the thing. Maybe that's what needs to happen in order for the other participants to pick up their responsibilities, right?
Well, I tell you, we have a lovely woman in another business I'm working with who had been doing some work for us, and it was kind of falling away. And we just mentioned, well, we've got this other person who's going to pick up the slack. And it was as soon as we mentioned that, like somebody else was, going to come in and do some of it. She was like, oh, okay, let me, and then all of a sudden just started producing again. It was kind of interesting, but if
got to just set the boundaries.
You got to set the boundaries. Yeah. And I love that, standing firm and grounded. And that takes a certain amount of self-awareness, though. Like I'm thinking, okay, I'm staying grounded, but what am I grounding myself in? And what so there's that.
but grounding yourself, and again, it comes back to what I was saying before. It's about alignment. Okay, what is in alignment with my heart, with my truth, and then standing. And so the message of strength, which is what Athena's overarching message is here, right? It's not about aggression. It's not about oh, I'm gonna force this into being. It's about calmly standing exactly in the place that says, this is in alignment with me. This is my truth. This is what I know I need for my own peace and harmony in my life, right? And then being willing to just be there, even when it's freaking uncomfortable. Because that's the thing here, right? Boundaries are not easy for us or those that we are setting them with. And it's not like I walk around going, I'm setting a boundary with you. I'm setting a boundary with you. I'm setting, it's just that I go, okay, how much do I want to participate in this? Where is the line that I'm not going to cross over? And sometimes that line's out here. And then I'm like, I need it to be a little more like here. And then I have to adjust things, and that's uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, honoring my boundaries is my job. It's my job. So when I want to become uber flexible and make it work for somebody else based on a fear or based on a belief structure, an outdated paradigm that's no longer working for me, I have to really sit with myself and say, okay, why you want to break your boundary? I had an interesting thing happen earlier this year where one of the things that's really important to me is that there's a physical conversation with clients before I see them, whether it's online or in person, because energetically, that's part of my flow, is having a conversation. I'm a Gemini, we need to talk, right? So having that conversation allows for that energy flow to begin, and for me to say, is this person someone that I'm in alignment with, I'm here to work with, right? And I allowed a conversation for appointments to go through text messaging instead of insisting that I had to have a conversation. And it took me about 24 hours to figure out that I was being scammed. Luckily, I caught it before anything occurred that could have been detrimental to my life. But it was a lesson for me to go, well, I guess I have to go back to that boundary that I set and not let it bend. The other boundary I had is I'm not having conversations with new clients after 7 p.m. And it was like 8:30.
Wow.
So I had to just get with myself and be like, okay, why did you let all of that happen? Again, I figured it out just by typing in a few words that were sent to me in the text message and into the computer and seeing, I just typed those words in and it said scam, and then it came right up. And I was like, okay. and that seems to be happening more and more in a few different, and because I got another email that I was like, what is this? And I had to just go and do the research, and nope, it's a scam, let it go, move on.
Wow.
It's unfortunate. But again, it's about recognizing your boundary and then saying, does this fit inside of my intentions? So
right.
I think Athena really gives us the opportunity to work that magic.
Yeah, and feel good about it, because for me, I can wrap my identity around that. Oh, she's so sweet. She will do anything whenever you ask, or you know how that is. It's just it kind of, you get an ego snack sometimes from people saying, I just, I love the way that you just are so willing to change this or do this, and I'm like, yes, I'm all that, and then meanwhile I've got this huge resentment after a while, like, what the heck did I just say I would do, and what was I thinking, and now I'm being taken advantage of, and you can easily
and look what I did to myself, right? Look what I did to myself by allowing myself to step outside of what I know is my truth.
Right.
That's the part that gets real sticky for me, because I do believe that everything that I participate in is a choice that I'm making. So that root chakra imbalance of feeling like the victim can come up real quick whenever I let a boundary get stepped over, or I step over it myself, is really what it comes down to. And then I have to go, okay, what did I do that put me in this situation?
Yeah.
And then I have to take ownership of it and do something about it.
That quite often is what gives me the most discomfort, is when I dishonor myself, shall we say, when I let myself down.
Yep.
And that, hurts my heart. So I have to, like we say in practically every one of these goddess chats, is that, it all comes through the heart. We just filter it through here and see how it.
Take the pause. I mean, and that's the message here. Be grounded. And when you are grounded, your strength will answer. You don't have to make a decision from an old paradigm. You don't have to make a decision from feeling like, oh, they're not going to like me, and they're not going to want me, and they're not going to, I mean, whatever words might travel around in your brain, those are some of the ones that have traveled around in mine throughout my lifetime. I'm not good enough. If I don't bend to make everyone else's needs more important than mine, then I'll be left behind. I'll be abandoned. I'll be whatever. And that's just that's not a truth I want to live in anymore. And I've been, a practitioner for 19 years. And it took me up until about the last 5 or 6 to finally be like, no, I can't work then. No, you can't just keep canceling on me at the last minute. No. And those no's were sometimes met with resistance. But they were no's that I needed to be saying for a very long time.
Well, and my experience with you in coaching and how you structured that, when I knew when you set aside a time to meet with me, and that was, it gave me the sense that this is an important time for me too. I need to honor that and not say, oh, this other thing came up, can we meet another time, or I need to cancel that. Well, that just is like, well, you're not really honoring your commitment to this, your development, and this is an important time. I'm setting aside this time for you because it's important, and you honor that for yourself. So you give, when you set that boundary, you're also helping that other person, right, realize that this is important. This is worth honoring on your side too. Now my head is just spinning. Now
that's okay.
I feel like I need to run and get my planner now.
We had this beautiful goddess to share her messages with us today, because it feels very divinely timed. It was exactly what was needed in this moment. And that's exactly what I said. I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we were talking about. So always we are being guided by spirit to commune with these aspects of the divine feminine at the perfect moment. So thank you for this chat, dear Paige. I hope that it has enlightened someone else out there as well. And I love our times together. But with that, we will leave you here to evaluate what boundaries might you need to set or adjust. Or maybe you don't know how you use boundaries, and you might want to start having a relationship with them and step into your strength. And recognize that by doing what's in your best and highest good, that means that you're actually doing what's in the best and highest good of everyone you're coming in contact with.
Exactly.
So with that,
goddess.
Go with the goddess.
There we go.
The goddess and do your magic.
Go, goddess. Oh, thank you so much for this talk.
Yes.
Thank you, goddesses out there who are watching later. We love and appreciate all of you, and that you participate in this group. So always comment, share.
Love to hear what you have to say. And with that, we will see you next time.
All right.
Namaste.
Bye. Namaste.